Well, the second thing I saw is easier to say. It's The Garden of Words. And Garden of Words.
Funnily enough, it's not that there's not that many words in that one.
Can you say it in its proper Japanese title, please, Candy?
Yeah, please. Biggie would have.
No. Not without being racist sounding, I can't, no.
Biggie
So
still
no, I
would
can't.
have.
You still would have.
What actually is it in Japanese?
I had
You
no
do
idea.
it.
I was just messing you about. It's the title.
So The Garden of Words is a Japanese anime drama film written and directed by Makoto Shinkai. The film focuses on Takayo Akizuki, an aspiring student shoemaker who decides that on rainy mornings to bunk off school and go to a local park, sort of Japanese garden. In this park, he meets Yukari, a mysterious woman who spends her time in the park drinking beer and eating chocolate, and she's basically just falling apart. She's not taking
I
herself.
can relate.
Yeah, not looking after herself as an adult. She's avoiding problems in her personal life. Yukari tells Takayo nothing of herself. She doesn't tell him her name. No, absolutely closed book, tells him nothing. Takayo opens up completely to her about everything. He tells him his hopes and dreams, aspirations, becoming a shoemaker, passion for making shoes, and he offers to make her a pair. I've got fairly strong feelings about this, and I will start off with the good things. The animation and the art is some of the best I've ever seen in anime, and I don't say that lightly at all. Like the reflections and the lighting whilst it's raining is beautiful. Like there's so many shots of it raining, and it almost feels like kind of ethereal, and as if you just want to reach out and touch it. You can kind of feel like the rain sort of underneath your feet almost. It's stunning. There's this repeated shot of a tree with its branches kind of dipping down into a pond, and it's just like it's breathtaking. It's got these lush greens of the park, and
Lush.
it's kind of
Is it lush?
Lush.
I love how you say that word, lush.
It's lush.
Sorry.
In the classic sense, it is lush greenery.
It's lush, my love.
Me babber, but it's kind of juxtaposed against the kind of greys and neons of the city and the subway and everything. It did perform well on its release. It ranked highly on iTunes. It was selected as the year's best animation on iTunes, best of 2013 it came out. It won the 2013 Kobe Theatrical Film Awards and awards at the Fantasia International Film Festival as well. So I'll talk about what I didn't like. So whilst the relationship between Takayo and Yukari is developing, their ages at the beginning are not mentioned. As the story progresses, we learn that Takayo is 15 and Yukari is 27.
Nonce!
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
When the rainy season starts to dry up, so that they're hanging out always when it rains, it's the thing they meet in the park when it rains. When it starts to dry up, Takayo starts to go back to school, and he learns that Yukari is actually a teacher at their school. And the reason she's been bunking off, the reason she's been bunking off work and drinking in the park is that she's been the target of bullying and rumors from a group of students. Basically, one of the female students' boyfriend mentions that he finds her attractive. So, kind of, the rumors start. Ultimately, she decides to leave her teaching job because of this. But going back to what I said earlier, she didn't actually disclose any of this information to Takayo. She knew he was a 15-year-old student at a school, but decided to put their blossoming relationship first and allowing him to form an emotional connection, not even telling him her age, let alone her being a teacher. And she does kind of mention that, he's 15 and he's got more of a grip on life than I do at 27. So emotionally, she feels no older than a teenager. However, I think, we can...
However, that's what Michael Jackson said.
Yeah, exactly. We can all say that. It doesn't mean anything just because you feel like you're falling apart.
Agree in a sense, but also I think I don't think she, from what I remember, was there looking for a romantic.
It weren't a sexual relationship.
It wasn't, and
she just needed someone to connect to because her life was kind of.
There is absolutely nothing wrong with an adult connecting with a minor in a platonic way.
Absolutely,
no, there's no wrong with that.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's. There was nothing sexual about their relationship, but it was obviously a blossoming relationship. And when you're as an adult female, when you're talking to a 15-year-old boy in the way she's speaking to him,
with adult tones,
adult tones, it is problematic. There's also a scene where he's measuring her to make her shoes, and it's only feet, but it's Quentin Tarantino feet.
Onlyfeet.com.
Yeah, it's a little bit much. It's a little bit. It's the kind of undertones of it, and it's quite an uncomfortable scene, I thought. But yeah, she didn't. So going back to the story, yeah. So Taco goes back to find her in the park one last time after learning that she's a teacher at school. They're caught in a sudden rainstorm. They decide to go back to her apartment, where Taco discloses his feelings to her, that he loves her. She reminds him that he was a teacher and she's leaving her job and going back to her hometown. That leads to a confrontation and Taco's storming out the apartment. And now she changes her mind. She chases him, feels like she's made a mistake to kind of cast him aside. And she falls into his arms, telling him that he's taught her how to walk again, which is kind of the theme of the thing. They're teaching each other how to walk, and him with literally being the shoemaker kind of thing. So, like I said, there was no sexual encounters, but it was grooming. It made me feel uncomfortable watching it. And
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. But it's a shame because it's a really beautiful, art-wise, it's really beautiful. But for me, it was a bit of a no. But in terms of the story, Shinkai actually wrote the story as a tale of lonely sadness based on the meaning of the traditional Japanese word for love, and uses shoes as a metaphor for life. The story motifs include rain, poetry, and the Japanese garden. The age difference between the two main characters and their character traits demonstrate how awkwardly and disjointedly people mature, even when adults sometimes feel no more mature than teenagers, according to Shinkai. But for me, like I said, it felt super uncomfortable, and ultimately it felt like the tale of glorifying a teenage boy's dream of pulling their teacher. So yeah, that one was a bit of a no for
Hot
me.
for teacher.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I get that, but I actually still really enjoyed it. I wasn't looking into it.
You're allowed to still enjoy it, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I get that. But I'm not going to defend him because there are issues with his other films. Despite the fact that I love Your Name, there's a couple of moments in that which are a bit dodgy.
And the kids.
Weathering with You is just, there's bits in that which are like they just kind of, it doesn't sit right with you at all. Like the romance is just kind of born from white knight kind of male savior, which leads to a bit of a rape joke, and it's like,
yeah, why bother?
These are meant to be teenagers. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, the story could have, had this male student been a sort of a college student, maybe like 18, 19, 20.
It'd have made it so much better.
Yeah.
Extra few years.
Exactly.